My Sims are going through a transition. The father just wants to make music, but the demands of his job as a stand-up comedian are taking their toll. The mother enjoys gardening and flirting with her husband in equal measure, but there are so many plants to water that her social life is suffering. How appropriate, then, that the Sims series itself is undergoing a transition. The Sims 4 is another elegant and absorbing simulation of daily life, but it's clear even after a few hours of playing it that something's missing. In advance of the review, let's take a look at the 4 biggest ways The Sims 4 drops the ball. Number 1. A diminished sense of community. The Sims has always been about telling stories of your own making, but in The Sims 4, the continuous world has been compartmentalized once again, and loading screens separate you from the rest of your neighborhood, which is in and of itself made up of small lots separated by loading screens. As a result of this and other changes, the stories I loved telling in previous games are now out of reach. I can no longer hop on a bike and pedal across town to the gym. If I get hungry at the library, I can't just walk to the restaurant next door and grab a bite. It's no longer a neighborhood, it's a bunch of rooms with houses with rooms of their own. Number 2. It's just generally stripped down. Getting back to that storytelling, it isn't just bike rides that have been removed from my personal stories. There are no pools or toddlers, and babies are just static things. I like having a child, and I'm glad that you can still use genetics to create a child that looks like her parents. But I will miss bonding with a baby, burping her and feeding her and watching her mature. I will also miss giving her the fanciest possible home. There's no more terraforming, so forget an intricate backyard. In fact, my initial lot was so small that there's no room for the starting telescope. Forget leaving out the things from previous Sims expansions. The Sims 4 leaves out some of the elements that made previous games so interesting in their vanilla states. I miss that mad dash to shower and eat before the carpool leaves, and being able to manage general behaviors for my Sims while they're at work. Some of these options will become available as a free download, I'm sure, while others will be added into expansion packs and stuff packs, which will certainly not be free. Number 3. No more create-a-style. Character creation has always been a blast in The Sims, and while being able to tweak individual facial elements is lovely, I miss being able to tweak clothing to best suit my aesthetics. The Sims series isn't just a life simulation, it's also a virtual dollhouse. Having the tools to make bathrobes and carpets look as colorful or as silly as we want to be is part of the charm. And I'm sorry, but being able to dress up like a hot dog isn't much of a consolation. Number 4. It doesn't take advantage of your hardware. At first you might think that not including a 64-bit executable is not much to get worked up about, but it's emblematic of the entire change in focus here. Presumably, developer Maxis was greatly concerned about making sure the game ran smoothly on as many different systems as possible. The condensed size may be sometimes frustrating, but the stuttering of The Sims 3 is in the past. I admire the game's buttery smooth performance, but I'd deal with a few scattered hitches if it meant lots weren't completely flat. And remember how we used to wish the game's so-called rabbit holes were improved? You know what I mean, places like restaurants and theaters that your Sims disappeared into? What we wanted were actual stores and schools to explore, not having them just be removed entirely. I suppose the upside is that the game runs exceedingly well on every PC I've played it on, but honestly, and somewhat unfairly, I've come to refer to The Sims 4 as The Sims 1 HD as a result. I'll have a more balanced look at The Sims 4 soon, but it's important to note even now that a number of options have been removed, and I'm not sure that the trade-offs are worth it. The Sims 4 is a joy to interact with, and there's still plenty of room to guide your Sims to success, but something doesn't feel right. Actually, a bunch of things just don't feel quite right.
Yibsy!